Good evening, everyone. So we're going to take another look at a Ferrari from the brand Kyosho. This is from their 11th Ferrari collection. These guys are racking out Ferrari models. And this is a model kit. So let's take a look here. I'm looking for the year. So this is from 2015. And let me focus on this. You can pause the video and decide if you want to get these other models. Sorry, this tape is holding us down. That's a black 333 SP. I'm still missing a few of these castings myself. I gotta get one of these FXX Evolutions. I think I have everyone, all the other ones. They may have come from other collections though, so the colors might be different. So let's see, in typical... Oh, nice. This has been assembled for me, so I don't know if the seller, maybe it's a personal collection, but they're not hard to assemble anyways. You can do it in 5 or 10 minutes. So, anyways, there were these other colors, yellow, blue, and red. But I went with the blue today, just to mix it up. I also find that red on diecast cars is the worst. It always gets paint rash. And I would say 90% of all my red diecasts have paint rash, so I avoid that color. Unless it's a metallic red, then it'd probably be okay. Okay, so the Ferrari 488 GTB, that means it's a Berlinetta or a coupe, and it was the replacement for the 458. So in typical naming convention for Ferrari, it would be a 4.8 liter. Oh, I'm wrong. I was gonna say a 4.8 liter V8, but I'm mistaken. It's actually a 3.9 liter twin turbocharged V8. So it's actually the first turbo since the F40, so that's interesting to note. And actually, now that I'm talking about the years and stuff, this thing came out in 2015 and was sold up until 2020. Okay, so there we go. I think the model looks pretty accurate. So back to this engine here. I guess that engine is making around 660 horsepower, which is getting pretty crazy. That's a lot of power. And then the thing can go over 200 miles per hour, supposedly 205 miles per hour. So for the bread and butter Ferrari, it's a full-on hypercar. That's pretty impressive. So the redesign is supposed to increase downforce by 50% over the 458, but still reduce aerodynamic drag. So maybe I'll talk about some of that stuff as I go over it with the pick. So the wheels here, they look relatively accurate except for Kyosho blanked off, the gap between these really thin spokes. I guess that's probably necessary. If there was air passing between those, well, I don't know. I mean, they could have physically had air there, but I think they might have worried that if you press on the wheel too much, you literally might collapse the wheel. That's a possibility. Or they could have just been lazy. That might be a more realistic possibility. Okay, it's a metallic blue. This is a standard Kyosho metallic blue. It's very common on a lot of their models. It's okay though. We got the Ferrari crest there, a little orange paint there, a little depression. Maybe that's like how to open the door or something. Not really sure what that is, but this is painted black just like on the real car, so that looks nice. The panel gaps are okay. Alright, so this section here, you got these inlets here. Supposedly this is reminiscent of the Magnum PI Ferrari 308, but they put a splitter in there, and the splitter is there for a purpose. The top section actually goes into the turbochargers, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yeah. And then the bottom one flows through the engine. Oh, I'm sorry. They go to the intercoolers. Alright, it's hard to read all this stuff and actually look at a model and then talk and make sure everything's in focus. So I apologize. I'm trying to do like 4 things at once. Okay, well anyways, they split the thing up for a purpose. Some air goes somewhere and some air goes somewhere else. But I guess the way it's shaped is supposed to kick up air in certain places, and even the door handles are supposed to clean up the air. But you know what? Now I'm looking at the photo of the real car. You might want to rewind. There is supposed to be a door handle here, and Kyosho doesn't have it. The door handle is on this surface, but it's not on this model, so that's too bad. They got a little lazy again. This might be the actuator for the door handle, but yeah, there's something missing there. Okay. Well, alright. Let's go to the front here. We got some grill texture in here. I think it's just painted onto the casting. I don't think it's a separate plastic piece. It doesn't have that plastic sound that I'm used to when I rub this pick over things. This is black paint as well. I think it's part of the casting. The Ferrari logo looks pretty good. It's not really crisp, but the size of it is not huge. The earlier Ferrari collections, this logo would look like the size of a tablet. It's pretty bad. So this size is pretty good. The headlights, you know, they're clear covers and then a little indication of some like stepped LEDs there. But no paint, I don't think. It would have been nice to maybe have some paint or something. Yeah, okay. Well, it looks like there's something going on in those light buckets. Nice sculptural forming there. What about this side here? Ooh, what's this? Alright, might just be the clear goes a little thin there. Alright, let's go to the back here. Now that's the sound of plastic right there. So that's molded plastic, and then the exhaust has depth to it. The rim is painted silver, so that's great. And then this is nice. You got some red dots for those LEDs there. And then a little black paint, it seems, up in there. And then some tiny red paint for these reflectors. And then the taillights are the transparent red. And then just some black paint for the vents here. So, I believe, you know, these are vents that come from, I forget if it's the top or the bottom one, but it's helping, you know, create less back pressure. Okay, third brake light printed on. The prancing horse looks pretty good, and then the Ferrari's printed there, and it is legible. So now we got some engine details going on. Just plain black though, so it's too bad. But that's the case with all Kyosho blisters. The seats do have some nice ribbed cushions there. The dashboard has an interesting texture. And the steering wheel, well, I think I'm gonna have to get a flashlight for this one. And I'll illuminate from this side. Yeah, I mean, the steering wheel looks cool. Yeah, just molded details, just no color. So that's typical of Kyosho. Alright, so the bottom here, we got some text. You can unscrew it, so if you want to do some wheel swaps, staggered tires, decent tread, thin veins. Okay. I'm not sure why you'd have like these vertical strakes. I think they're vortex generators. I'm reading here that they're supposed to reduce air pressure beneath the car. I see. Like if it kicks the air out this way, it would go like that. I guess it creates turbulence back here. Micro turbulence for aerodynamics. I'm not an aerodynamicist. I'm trying to learn actually through looking at these diecasts. Okay, well, that's enough there. So I would say actually it's a great model. Is it 100% perfect? It possibly is, manufacturing wise. I didn't see any paint rash or scratches or misprinted something or another. So let me think back. I can't even remember 2 minutes ago, but I would say this is actually a perfect model as far as the execution of it. You know, and I don't really see anything really weird about the design choices either. Yeah, the wiper blades, they seem to be raised and painted black. So, okay, I'm pretty happy actually. Oh boy, every time I say it, maybe right there where my thumb is, it might be a little paint contaminant right there. Pretty close. It's like a 99% perfect model, so that's not so bad. Let us put this thing up on the spin thing. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So I just so happen to have the 308 that I mentioned before, Magnum PI's Ferrari. Now, Wikipedia, I'm not sure who's writing these articles, but I don't know if this side vent really looks like that side vent. I feel like it's quite different. But I want to really bring this out just to see how much bigger, you know, Ferraris have become. It's definitely a bigger car. It's wider, it's longer, it's taller. It's significantly taller, actually. Probably because, you know, they're tall, wealthy people, and they want to have headroom, right? Although Magnum PI, I think, was Tom Selleck, I think, was a pretty tall guy. I don't know, maybe if he really fit in there naturally, or maybe they modified the seat for that car he drove around. But it's interesting to see the evolution of car size and actually car styling. So the direct predecessor of this would be this one. This is also by Kyosho. This is the 458, which is, I think, a 4.5 liter V8, but it's naturally aspirated. So this is a smaller displacement, but being turbocharged, it's putting out a lot more power. 660 horsepower, still, that's a staggering number. Okay. You'll notice here on the 458, you know how the wing kicks up quite a bit. But with the aerodynamic improvements here, this wing, it technically is a wing, but it doesn't really kick up very much. You know, it's very shallow. So, and you'll notice the rear glass, it actually goes down under it a little bit. So I have a suspicion, just looking at the photo here, back here, that the air travels down the back glass and some of it exits through this groove right here. And then obviously other parts of the airstream are flowing up above it and pushing that rear end down. So it's interesting. It's a really subtle rear wing. It's not a giant like picnic table wing, but it is creating downforce back there. Very well. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next Kyosho review.